to our state-of-the-art bottling facility. Situated on an ancient underground lake, we're reminded of the timeless power of pure water. But it doesn't stop here. The secret of cure lies in the pure oxygen we so carefully infuse to breathe life into every bottle of Cure water without chemicals or additives. Cure pushes the boundaries of what water can do, uniting life's most essential ingredients: water and oxygen. The next generation of hydration. Cure Oxygen, nature's ultimate water.
Runix Heavy Duty 89 Series. High efficiency, brushless 20-volt motor. All-in-one professional angle grinder kit. Runix brushless angle grinder.
Assalamu alaikum and good evening and welcome to Breaking Barriers here on IBN Channel 8. For those of you who are joining us live on Facebook, it's a pleasure having you on board. You know, this program is normally aired at 8 p.m. on a Wednesday evening, but on a Wednesday night actually. It's being aired right now live on Facebook as well. So it's a pleasure having you in my company. Let's start with our first advertiser, our good friends at Tile Expression Company Limited. And of course, Tile Expression is where you get all your tiles. And here what's happening, there is no season for savings or at Tile Expression. Remember, you go down there, you could save big. Whether it is January, February, March, April, May, it does not matter. Give them a call and, of course, outfit your entire home at Tile Expression. Now, what we're going to do is that tonight we're going to deal with many issues. And, of course, many of you have been asking me, when are we going to deal with the issue of the guard boot? Well, of course, I'm going to deal with that tonight. And one of the things that I should tell you is that I would, in fact, let me see... if I could get hold of him now. I know it's going to be very difficult to try and get a hold of him now, but I will try to see how I can get hold of him. Right, I'm going to try and see if I can get my attorney, Richard Jagisa, on the line to explain exactly what's going on and the process, etc., and where do we go from here. So let me see if I can get him on the line. The phone is ringing, so let's hope that we can get him on.
Hi, good afternoon.
Mr. Jagisa.
Hi.
All right, just let you know, I'm doing my program earlier, so I'm calling you live. I humbly apologize for this. What happened is that I want are you available for just 5 minutes?
Sure, go ahead.
Right. What I want to do is get an update. And, of course, for those people who are viewing right now, on the line, we have attorney at law, Richard Jagisa, the gentleman who is handling how much matters we know, Richard, about 19?
Right now we are 19, yes.
Right, we are 19 right now, 19 matters. And... we will be adding to that come January, right?
Yes. No, adding and taking off because we have a decision coming in at the end of January.
Right, and I think we have 2 matters in January to deal with as well too. So
yes.
Anyway, basically what's happening is that I wanted to get into this matter with the guard boot and the breaking down of the guard boot in Bamboo number 2, and where do we stand on that issue, and exactly where do we go from here? Because I have shown time and time again, in fact, the records will show that I have complained about a warehouse in Bamboo that is built on the riverbank. A gentleman's private property, the wall is on the riverbank. In Bamboo number 3, a businessman is running a business and they cut the riverbank to put a wall. So I could go on and on and on about issues in Bamboo number 2 and Bamboo number 3 that I have complained about, and not one thing has been done. Also in Mount Hope, where you have all these food booths, concrete food booths that are up with no sidewalk, so it poses a risk to life and limb. Nothing has been done. Richard, where do we go from here?
All right. So the first thing I want to make it clear that you in Shan Ishmael, nor any of the companies you're affiliated with, owns the guard booth. The guard booth was a security measure, was a decision taken by the Bamboo number 2 Village Council, correct?
Correct. And it was approved and signed off on by villagers and 90% of the businesses wherein we have all the documents to prove same.
Exactly. Now, the reason the Village Council knew to do that 90% of the population agreeing signature, the reason the Village Council needed to take that step was because efforts were made to the corporation to acquire the relevant permission. And at those inquiries, I understand some representatives told the Village Council representatives that was one of the requirements, that was the starting point. And as such, that procedure began. Now, what you pointed out, now that's the first thing I want to clarify. What you pointed out is a critical element to what has to be considered under the Constitution as unfair and unequal treatment of the law. Now, what the Constitution says is that every citizen is protected against unfair and unequal treatment. And what you've said is that, listen, there are several complaints for similar breaches, or no, not saying this was a breach, saying that you've accused the guard booth of being in breach of some law, and all you are saying, you in Shan Ishmael are saying, is that hey, Hiena, I know that there are breaches similar to that elsewhere, so what is going on with that? And the truth is that we challenge the corporation to show that all of the guard booths in the corporation have been approved or were approved prior to the guard booth being constructed. Because I understand that there are guard booths that were constructed and then years later the approval came. So why could that not have happened in this case? Why was it a need and a rush and what seems to be a malicious intent and a target against the Bamboo number 2 community? And that is where the unfair and unequal treatment of the law comes into play. Now what I want to clarify is that all of the notices that was sent in relation to the booth was sent to the builder. And the notices were never addressed to any particular person. It just said builder. It is therefore the corporation's duty. To say whether or not the notices were received by the appropriate body or the appropriate entity. And if that has not been done, they then have to say on what jurisdiction and what standing they had to demolish the guard booth, having not confirmed that the builder received the notices.
Now, let us address, and I'm asking my guys now, the letter from the Village Council. I want to address that a little bit because a letter was sent out purportedly from the president of the Village Council. And after our investigation, we realized that the vast majority of persons on the Village Council were unaware of this letter. Yes.
Now, it's curious because the signatory to that letter, you're talking about the December the 5th letter.
Yes, correct, yes.
Written by
Jeremy Naipaul. Yes.
By Mr. Naipaul, yes. Now, that letter, as it stands, is on the letterhead, the stationery for the Village Council, and it's signed by him. And what you've alluded to, what you've said is that is that how can he as president sign off on this letter and use the stationery when the majority of the executives seems to be unaware of this letter being sent out? That's one critical factor. That's one critical element.
Could I add something to this? My son is the vice president of the village council, and my son was fully unaware of that letter.
Yes. And it's curious that the president signed as opposed to the secretary, and the secretary may or may not know about it, and so on.
Go ahead, the secretary wasn't aware too.
Right, the secretary wasn't aware. So those are the critical people. Those are usually the go-to people who ought to know. And if you are saying that they don't know, well, then the president has to answer for why he used the official stationery and signed it as president. That's the first issue. The second issue is whether or not the contents of the letter was approved by anybody on the village council. And if these people are telling you they are not aware of the letter, well, then certainly they cannot be aware of the contents of the letter.
Correct.
Nor could they have approved the letter. And what the content said, and that's the third and final point. The third point is the content of the letter is plainly erroneous and appears to be malicious. The content of the letter says that you are the owner of the guard booth, and the village council is not associated with the guard booth in any way. I then have to ask myself if it was a different Jeremy Naipaul reported in the papers since October, saying that the village council took the approval, made the decision to install the guard booth. I then have to ask myself if all of those reporters and all of those journalists are mad to report Jeremy Naipaul as president, who said repeatedly he stands by the council's decision to erect the guard booth. He defends the erection of the guard booth. I believe he even sent out a press release on November the 28th asking Guardian to correct and amend an article, and says that the construction of the guard booth is supported by all of the businesses in the bamboo community. And those are different quotes. Those are different times. Jeremy Naipaul, posing as president, supported the construction of the guard booth. And then now we have somebody coming forward to say the guard booth is not theirs, and the guard booth was never theirs and is now yours. And the same, and this is the curious aspect, and this is why I refer to it as malicious, because the same day that letter was issued, perhaps unlawfully so, perhaps irregularly and without the proper procedure, and the same day that letter was issued, the chairman of the Tunapuna Piarco Regional Corporation gave an interview echoing the sentiments of the letter. And it seems to be, and why I say it's malicious, it seems to be that the letter was a premeditated instrument designed to sort of rope you into it as owner. But the truth and the fact remains, and the public record is there. It cannot be owned by one person when it was a village decision, when it was a council determination and decision, and when it was funded by members of the community, and when 90% of the community agreed to have it there. This action that they've taken to sort of rope you into it, to sort of cast you as the person to blame and so on, that is plainly malicious. And the person who smiled and gave interviews in relation to that letter will soon be in the box. And you know how I deal with people in the box. you know their faces lose all color, and they just be on suicide watch.
No, well, and this is the sad reality of it, because I just found a video with the president of the village council actually inside the guard booth supervising the construction while other workers were there. And I could go on, and we have people to verify. But you see, my concern is, and people wonder, Richard, and it's something that I notice about you two as well. Your father and yourself and your mother share a fantastic relationship. And your father is by your side in court and out of court. And if somebody were to say that Mr. Jagisa is a conman, he's a crook, he's a thief, you would look to defend your father's name. Is that correct?
Absolutely correct.
And this is why we took the matter with Kroko to court, because it was to defend my name and my father's goodwill. And similarly, we cannot in a village come together, make a decision, go on all over the village. My son went as well. and the other members of the village council. And all of a sudden, this letter come from nowhere. And by the way, we have asked him on several occasions, did you write the letter? Did you? And he refused to answer. Even on the village, or even on a chat with him and other members, he refuses to respond to many of the questions. And another thing, by the way, one is that a relative of his is dumping rubbish on my property, so I'm going to let you know that as well. So where do we go from here now? What happens is that at the end of the day, what is the next step?
All right. So I believe that there are several Freedom of Information Act requests pending.
Yes.
And there are several issues outstanding to be determined. And I believe the village council has to make some minuted decisions, and then we can take legal action. There's only so much I think we should say now without those steps, without those things being placed in writing. One, because as you know, I like to play things very close to my chest until the appropriate time. And two, because there is a lot of untied ends right now that we need to close up before we start to nail people to the box. And you know when I start how it will end. It only ends one way.
But let me ask you a question, and you could, or you don't have to answer this question. But if there were persons within the village council, we are just saying one or two, who were also culpable and part of this letter, who approved this letter, would they also be liable?
The short answer is yes. The short answer is whoever had part to play in such a malicious and false letter being disseminated will stand some sort of liability. Yes, indeed.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, Mr. Jagisa, as usual, thank you very much, my friend. Do have a safe holiday. Be careful where you're going. Don't work out too late. And also make sure and take your berberine, because remember, even though you are young in physical looks and in heart, I want you to be around for a long time. All right, my brother?
Yes, and rest assured, wherever I'm going, I'm carrying a suitcase filled with your files, because we have things due. We have things due. I was sure we was going to get a due date on 25th of December at one point.
No, I know I could count on you for that, because a holiday is not indeed a holiday for you. Thank you very much.
No.
Thank you very much, Mr. Jagisa. Pass up and check me out later. We got bust a little something to eat. All right, all best. And of course, for those of you who are just joining us, of course, this program is coming to you live. And of course, it's being streamed via Facebook and YouTube. And the person who you just heard was none other than attorney at law Richard Jagisa, discussing the issue with the guard boot. Many of you would realize that the guard boot in Bamboo number 2 was broken down. And what is interesting? Let me tell you what is interesting. I received that call just after 5 a.m. This is how wicked and nasty and evil the Tinapuna Piako Regional Corporation is, right? They didn't do this during normal working hours, because they know the villagers would have come out, not to misbehave, not to pelt stone, not to shoot up the place, but the villagers would have come out there to see what was going on. Because Bamboo have villagers who does behave. They don't misbehave. But we do have one or two stupid people in Bamboo, like every other village. Every village has stupid people. Guys, see if you can get... There's an Express article with some of the comments that some people made. It's on a white background with a few comments where residents say, well, if the government build it, they would support it. Right? Right, good. This comes from an article in the Express where the reporter had stated that Bamboo people were upset. One resident said he was happy the boot was demolished, but would be in support of a Booty government were to put it up. That is what you call drunk and dotish at the same time. You cannot differentiate between the two. That resident have to be drunk and dotish. The other one says, another resident said he did not believe the guard boot would have made a difference if it remained up. It would have kept back the evolution and progress of businesses. This is what I tell you. You see, when you live in a village and it has stupid people, every one of you watching this right now, whether it be on the live stream, Facebook, or whatever, every one of you will admit that in your village you have stupid people. And in Bamboo, we are no different. We have stupid people. I just showed you 2 or 3. This one is saying that guard boot, the barrier, would have stopped the progress. How the hell is that going to stop the progress of the village, you idiot? When the guard boot, right? The barrier would be up down in the night only when all the businesses close. You see, this is what I tell you, know. It's similar to some of these people who's be on Facebook and TikTok. You know, TikTok made some people relevant and Facebook made them relevant as well. And it's the same thing with some of these villagers, right? The papers ask you a question, the Express reporter, and this is the best you could come up with. And you know as he had this, if bandits come and rob you, we might be the first one to show up by your house because we don't know who you are, and that is how stupid you are. All right, so let's run through a few slides with the guard boot. We'll deal with our guard boot issue first. Right, there's a letter that Jeremy Naipaul sent out, right, and was shown by the Tanapuna-Piarco Regional Corporation. Mr. Naipaul sent out this letter, and he claims to have the support of the village council, where he states in that letter that I am the owner. During and after the meeting, it was identified that the owner of the guard boot at Bamboo number 2 is Inshan Ishmael. He has stated his position that he does not accept the stance and will pursue his position. And this is what this idiot, right? This is what these idiots, not idiots, sorry. This is what these idiots who decided to pen this letter, this is what they come up with. Something that is totally false, something that is totally erroneous, something that is totally bankrupt of facts. And looking to get me a deed for a guard boot, which I have nothing to do with except to finance, except to be there to help them build it, and except to be one of the voices of the village. Well, boy, like I tell you, we go in full blow. It has to go legal because that is how I roll now. You want to play stupid? I will make you pay for your mouth and your dotishness, because I am not going to tolerate malicious dotishness. Let's go again, guys. Yeah, run the videos.
Yeah, I see that. All right, well, we're in Bamboo here. We're residents
in support of the guard boot.
In support.
Right, this was the meeting that was called, and,
right,
these are some of the villagers that showed up there. Rain was falling, and one is that, and at the end of the day, this is not me alone. This is not me alone, and it's not a few of us. Come back to me. And it's not a few of us standing alone. Right? That was Otto Carrington, by the way, from CNC3. Right? So when you look at this whole thing, it reeks. It reeks. And tonight I ask you the question, right? This evening I ask you the question, because this program is live now. I ask you the question. Do you believe that it was either politically motivated, right, economically motivated, or racially motivated? I ask you that question tonight. Or for those of you watching on Facebook or TikTok or whatever, I ask you to answer this question. Do you believe that the breaking down of the guard boot in Bamboo number 2, as malicious as it was racially, politically, or economically discriminatory? Because when you look at other areas, and I mentioned a few, let's go back, let's mention 1 or 2 of the areas now. Grand Bazaar. You come out of Grand Bazaar. On the left side, you have food booths literally on the road. But a businessman in Bamboo number 2 owns 2 of those properties. And the businessman was the same one that the Tanapuna-Piarco Regional Corporation, noted there is no allege here, built a drain on his property, costing about $200,000. That same businessman had blocked the main drain in Bamboo number 2, and the TPRC did nothing. The Tanapuna-Piarco Regional Corporation did nothing, absolutely nothing. Oh, sorry, they did. They did something. They went, and Val Singh got flooded, by the way. They went and they cut the main road in Bamboo, and they built a new drain in the businessman property. So now the businessman don't have to spend that money on a drain. So we're talking about by Grand Bazaar, where everything on the road Josiah or Jizia or whatever his name is, Joanna, or I don't know whatever the hell his name is at the end of the day, right? I don't see them breaking down anything there. Mount Hope, the entire front of Mount Hope, where the hell, where's the proper name for this man boy? I think it's Josiah or something like that. Where the hell is Josiah and his team? Where are they? In St. Augustine, you have people building businesses on the road. Where the hell is Josiah? In Tanapuna, where the hell is Josiah? And all you come in just after 2 months of erecting a structure and breaking it down to do what? What did that accomplish? All you think all was going to break me? What the hell all you think all you would have accomplished by breaking that boot? All you going to break me? But let me tell you something. Let me explain something to all you. I good stupid. And I don't let things like that break me. If your government, Josiah, could arrest me 7 times and then break me, you think all you coming and taking on a guard boot could break me or break people in this village? You can't. All you can't. And that is all the problem. All you feel by doing this, that all you gain something. But let me tell you something. Everywhere we go, people in shock over the nasty, disgusting way that the Tanapuna Piako Regional Corporation handled this matter. Imagine so many issues with crime, so many issues with robberies, with rape, with extortion attempts, with family being burgled in their homes, people being raped, people being murdered. And all the priority was to break down a guard boot. The one thing that could have helped to protect this village. And what will I accomplish? Whose side are you on? Whose side is the Tanapuna Piako Regional Corporation on? Are you on the side of the criminals? Because it would appear so. Because we are doing something to avoid criminals, to avoid being robbed. But on the other side now, all you're breaking down something which was supposed to help us. So I'm asking the question in general now. And I ask him Faris, because here what's happening. Faris is the one who is in charge of this ministry that was responsible for doing this dotishness. And I'm asking Faris now, how you feeling? If you feeling proud, if your mother feeling proud, because I know that woman, Diane Sukaran, a respectable woman, and it's good for your Faris. They put you down now, look where they put you. They move you from Attorney General for you to look after stink drain, for you to look after stink place now. You had to pick up mud, you had to deal with cesspit water now. You are the Minister of Local Government. That is how much faith they have in you. Imagine that. I've never seen anywhere in history where the Attorney General of our country was reduced to the Minister of Local Government. And you still feeling proud. And you feeling more proud now that this guard boot was broken now. You know what? If anything were to happen to a resident in Bamboo now, I am holding the Minister of Local Government, I am holding the Tanapuna Piako Regional Corporation, and I will hold the Prime Minister, because the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago is the man who does have some decisions into who goes into what positions where. This is where we at. And you see, it is unfortunate that I could count 50 different areas where there are breaches going on for donkey years. Look at UE doubles. UE doubles are literally on top of drain. No parking. But Tanapuna Piako Regional Corporation have them riding with a set of traffic. It don't have no breach there? No, man, all you can't be that stupid. All you can't be that stupid and dotish. Here what's happening. My battle now start, and I do back down. But you know what's the most embarrassing part about this whole thing? Here was the most embarrassing part. Let me just welcome Dr. Max, all-purpose degreaser. You know what's the most embarrassing thing? All you come to break down a structure in Bamboo number 2 because all you say it's illegal. Let me just advise all of something that all of me not know. The whole of Bamboo, every single business in Bamboo, every single house in Bamboo, illegal. Not one building in Bamboo was built legally. Because you see, in Bamboo, we don't depend on government handouts. In Bamboo, we did not wait 20 and 25 years for a blasted AGC house. You understand? Our parents taught us, get up your backside and walk and do what you need to do to survive. Right? If the state does not provide you with the necessary documents, then do what you need to do to survive. And no courting and say you're wrong there, brother man. Because if the state does not fulfill its responsibility, similar to this, it's easy, you know. The state has failed miserably. We have about 560 murders. Tobago, 13 murders now in Tobago. 13 murders, right? Look at what is taking place all over this country. Man passing out like wind. Look, for example, and we're going to get to this matter with courts just now, right? But murder left, right, and center. And you telling me that we cannot, you cannot even have any faith in the TTPS because the TTPS has failed. The detection rate is abysmal. It is sickening. So if the state failed to protect us, if the state failed to take care of us, what the hell do you expect us to do? We put up a guard boot. We didn't arm ourselves with illegal weapons. We put up a guard boot. What court in the country will say that all it was wrong? When the court hears that we had 3 extortion attempts, we had about 3 or 4 robberies, and the village decided out of panicking, out of nervousness, out of sheer, fright, we decided to come together and put up a guard boot. And the corporation, who with this act seems to be supporting the criminals, decided that that is priority for them. That is priority for them. This is where we are at in this country, where certain people could build literally dozens of houses and do what the hell they want and get away. This is what we have in PNM country, you know. It is so blatant that here what's happening. If you don't see what is going on in this country, something is wrong with you. Anyway, let's run through some of our slides, guys. This is us putting it up. And by the way, zoom in. Look who's supervising. The same man who said that I am the owner of the guard boot. Watch him there. The one on the right. The one on the right. The one on the right with the white pants, with the white jersey. With the white jersey. The white jersey, yes. That is the man there who said that I am the owner of the guard boot. Jeremy Naipaul. That one there. The same one who was there helping us cleaning. The same one who was there supervising. Right? That same one. Let's go again. Yeah, let's run the news. Let's run that.
Guard booth at Bamboo No. 2 has been demolished. On Thursday morning, the Tunapuna Piarco Regional Corporation demolished the structure that was erected by a resident. According to activist Inshan Ishmael, the booth was erected to deter criminal elements from entering the community. However, correspondence between the Bamboo No. 2 Community Council and the TPRC showed President of the Council, Jeremy Naipaul, and his group distancing themselves from the stance taken by Mr. Ishmael. They said that they were willing to work within the ambit of the law to construct a guard booth and barrier system that would be managed by the Bamboo No. 2 Community Council. The TPRC has also proposed the deployment of CCTV cameras to address the security issues in the community. The Bamboo No. 2 community has also been able.
The TPRC suggests the installation of cameras. Cameras go and do what every villager in this area have cameras. All your idiots, all your set of clowns. Everybody in this area have cameras. What people getting robbed, you see in their face, nobody getting held. So what stupidness are they talking about that if we install cameras, that the cameras will help? And this is to tell you how dunce some of these people are, you know. The suggestions that they're making, it worked nowhere. Imagine, for the time that guard boot was installed, we did not have one single mention on our WhatsApp group of an incident or a suspicious vehicle. Imagine the very sight of a boot created safety for the villagers. But I'm going to tell you, I want to see when they're going to Mount Hope. Because here what's happening there, my attorney and I, who you heard earlier on, Richard Jagisa, we are sending for tons of documents. Number one, we want to find out if any letters were sent in Mount Hope there about the breaches in front of Mount Hope, right? We want to find out when were the letters sent, what was the response, when the demolition notice was given, and why booths were not demolished. Because here what happening, you see this kind of discrimination, I don't take them kind of thing, Josiah. You understand? If you feel that you're on a power high, here what happening, brother. Wrong monster you're dealing with. Wrong monster. You understand me? I do back down. I just use the law on my side. And people like you, I will put you in the box, brother man. You see, when it comes to court, I will put you in the box, me and my attorney, and let you run your mouth there. Because you see, fellas like all you who feel like when all get power, it is go to all head. We just had to bring all back down to earth. We just had to bring all back down. Let's go to the other slide, guys.
The controversial security booth in Bamboo Settlement Number 2 is now gone, demolished by the Tunapuna Piarco Regional Corporation.
I want you to listen to what he has to say. Listen carefully. Go ahead.
Security booth in Bamboo Settlement Number 2 is now gone, demolished by the Tunapuna Piarco Regional Corporation.
The demolition process started around 5:30 a.m. I understand it was about 25 minutes long. It was a very smooth process, well executed by our technical team, members of the TTPS and the municipal police were all present.
As demolition crews moved in Thursday morning, Austin says there was no resistance by Bamboo residents.
This process is by no way political. This was actually something that was raised by the councillor for the area. And
good. Now, will you hear that? It was raised by the council for the area, which is SEMA. So what we're doing, we are getting all the minutes of the meetings. We are getting everything. And what happened is that if, and this is to tell you the stupidity that we have to deal with, because we heard that when it was time to vote, they abstained. And this is what I keep telling people. You see this Kamala politics and this Rowley politics? Even Kamala said, right? And boy, like I tell you, people who still support this woman, God help all you. All you really cannot continue to be that stupid. Because I keep saying, the woman is not well. She blasted, sit down and can't even get up properly when she went to her prayers. And this is the woman who all you continue to support. What is going to happen in the next 3-4 years? What is going to happen? And this is the woman who all is supporting. And she's the same one who's saying that people can't just get up and build a guard booth here, there, and everywhere. And not too far from her constituency, guard booths put up left, right, and center. And she doesn't open her bloody mouth. What a hypocrite. What a failure and a hypocrite that woman is. I don't know where we're going, you know. I honestly don't know where we are going. Because based on what we are seeing, it needs to improve. But if you have councillors who are not siding with you, and councillors who are bloody failures like the one that we have, and failures like the member of parliament like we have, and then you have the leader of the opposition endorsing these failures, where the hell are we going? Where are we going? You understand? Because on one side, you have a megalomaniac. And then on the other side, you have somebody who drunk and dizzy. Right? And I have proof of that. Right? At the end of the day, where are we going? Where are we going? Let's welcome our good friends at Mitsu Air Limited, and they're the agents of Mitsubishi Electric air conditioning systems. And remember, all the air conditioning systems are inverter units, which means that you're going to save big on electricity. Big time. Also, they offer a 10-year warranty. The only company that offers a 10-year warranty on the air conditioning units. Not just 1 year and 2 year thing, and thing that could burn down your house. Give them a call, 674-4000 or 675-4000. All right, let's go back to other slides. Forget the, let's go to that. Right. National Security Council announces review of certain aspects of the TTPS operations following incidents at Courts Megastore. You know what is interesting? Come back to me. What is interesting is that we have had over 10,000 murders in the last few years. 10,000 murders. And they reviewed nothing. Women being murdered. Children being murdered. Guys, there's a little slide with our father who sleeps in his car. Right? See if you get that one for me. That's right. Still haunted by the murders of his common-law wife and his stepson, his 80-year-old stepson. This man sleeping in the car, he can't even go in the house. He's so uncomfortable. But we reviewing things now all of a sudden because of what took place by courts. Because of what happened there. Something have to be wrong with us in this country to continue to allow this stupidness to continue to take place. There should be a review if one person has been murdered. But you see, we have a failure to the right, which is Ola, and you have a next failure to the left. And that failure is approved by the head of the National Security Council, which is Rowley. But you see, I keep telling people, Trinidadians like to sit down, relax, and absorb, and take the nonsense. I am not one of those who sit down and take it. I am one of those who speak out. This is why I am one of the biggest threats to the government of Trinidad and Tobago right now. Because you see, when I present facts. And this is why when I do things, they will come after me. They got arrest me. They got arrest me. They got break down the structure thinking that my father have a deed for that. And this is the stupidity of the government of Trinidad and Tobago. Absolute stupidity. So they're going to review and review what? If you have failures as national security, if you have failures in the police service, I have said it time and time again. We sent a letter to Erla where a senior superintendent stole money from a woman. The PCA investigated and said she should be charged. And Erla is sitting on her backside doing nothing. The commissioner of police got that letter, over 6 months ago, and have done nothing. Absolutely nothing. Ask Erla why. Ask her why. Ask her what has she done. Ask the PCA what they are doing at present. Ask them what they are doing. It is almost like if the PCA is trying to protect some of these officers who are guilty of God knows what. Because the PCA is like a dead horse. They shouldn't even exist. Waste of time. Let's go again, guys. Here we go. Talk about the PCN. They having an investigation, and then they have their findings, and then they're going to send it off, and nothing will be done. So, them come like the cesspit truck, and when it goes to the TTPS, that becomes like the ultimate cesspit. Let's go again. This is Angelique Periso-Potter, legal representative for the Massey Group. Now, I want to read this for you because this caused some eyebrows to raise when this was brought up yesterday and the day before. She stated, she sent in a 13-page report on issues that concern her. Now, I want people, come back to me. I want people to understand that this woman is a legal counsel. The woman is an intelligent woman. The woman was the TED speaker for TED Port of Spain, right? TEDx. And this woman, I believe she is on the board of the Integrity Commission, or she plays some role in the Integrity Commission too as well. So this is not a fly-by-night woman. This woman is not some little baby somewhere. This is a woman who is highly intellectual and a woman who is not going to take any stupidness, and she will question what needs to be questioned. Now, everybody heard about this thing with Massey sending people to go and learn how to talk to zombie and dead people, right? But let us take a read and see where we're going. Right? Periso-Potter said the programs involved frequent travel to Fort Myers, Florida, and weekly commitments for over a year at a cost per participant of tens of thousands of US dollars. She said there were over 11 participants last year alone for the leadership program. Their bizarre rituals include they can train Massey employees to communicate with the dead, and that attendees can self-heal with white light energy. Well, Gobar Part 1 and Gobar Part 2. This is a matter of grave concern to shareholders because the couple leading the program appear to exert disproportionate influence over our executive team. In the midst of a foreign exchange crisis, Massey cannot be spending scarce resources on highly dubious activities, and contracts awarded cannot be pushed through without prudent due process. This is not just a governance issue, it's a blatant disregard for shareholders' interests, she stated. And she has been a part of the Massey Group for over 7 years. Let's move over to the other slide with her. Port of Spain, October the 24th. Speaker, TEDx. And who it is? Same person. Let's go again. And this is her qualifications. Executive created and leading Massey's Business Integrity Program, the Business Integrity Program, working with the board executives and senior management to create a speak up and listen culture, etc., etc. Over the last 30 years, I've gained a breadth of multicultural and transdisciplinary experience living and working in the Middle East, UK, Latin America, and the Caribbean. 15 of those years have been spent in the oil and gas sector. Only look at the qualifications that this woman have now, man. Watch this woman brighter than a bulb. And you telling me that all of a sudden that Massey looking to go and try and do what? Discipline her or find a way to shut up or throw her. No. I want to hear the outcome of this. But what is interesting? Give me the other slide, guys. What is interesting, this is Massey's press release, where they are concerned the board has initiated a disciplinary process to review. Imagine that. Imagine that in a board meeting where you are allowed to speak up. This woman, they are trying to silence her. But let's go again to the other slide. Right? Forget that part. Let's go to, right, that is my boy here. I want this piece. Warner, it's the secret, according to the newspaper report. Let's go again. Let's see. Speaker in Guardian Media interviews after the annual meeting, Warner, the Massey Holdings president and CEO, said the Port of Spain-based group spent between $500,000 and $1 million a year on the executive leadership program training in Fort Myers, Florida. But we spent a lot more on other training programs as well. We have a very heavy training and development program as we lead 13,000 employees. Now here they say, when you think of 1 million or 2 million or 3 million in the broad budget that we have for people development, we think it is worth the investment. We see the results in our bottom line for making investments like that. Ask whether it would be possible to fly the management trainers to TNT instead of flying executives and directors to Fort Myers in Florida. Warner said that has happened as well. And he goes on and on and on and on. He says that 3, 4, whatever times a year is not going to affect the bottom line of the Massey Group of companies, but it will make a huge difference in who those leaders turn out to be. I want to know, talking to the dead and using white light technology to heal and all kind of thing, that is John beating breads. Let's go again. Right? During the annual meeting, Warner admitted that although the group earns a significant percentage of its foreign exchange needs, it is not a net foreign exchange earner, meaning that they do not earn all the foreign exchange that they use. They do not have more than what they use. They have to get foreign exchange. So let us go back to this now. Let's see exactly where. In one interview, Warner was asked whether that means some percentage of Massey's foreign exchange needs come from the local commercial banks, which may mean that the group is getting foreign exchange for the leadership training program that could go to other businesses. And then he goes on to say that I'm not following the logic, etc. So let us come back to me, guys. So let us take this as a point of fact. Number one, the CEO and the president admit that they do not get all the foreign exchange from their business. That some of the foreign exchange come to government. I was the representative for Generac. Many of you know Generac, right? Generac, the company with pressure washers. I was the authorized dealer. My company was the authorized dealer in the Caribbean, in Trinidad and Tobago for them. We had to shut that down. I had to end that relationship because we couldn't get 100,000 every 2-3 months to supply the needs. All of a sudden, FT Farfan is the agent for it now, right? So this has repeated itself over and over. For example, with the foreign exchange issue, where roll-on, roll-off is concerned. My business, that part of my business died because I couldn't get foreign exchange. No, I had to sell chairs, I had to sell tables, whatever little I could get and use credit card and this and that. That is how I operate because you see two things. A person who spoke out about the bank the other day and what the bank does do, etc., etc., all of a sudden that person and their company stop getting foreign exchange from the bank. And this is what is happening. The banks in Trinidad and Tobago, they are targeting people. They are choking certain people. For example, I had asked for an investigation with the Integrity Commission, and the Integrity Commission did a half backside investigation. They did not go through everything, and the Integrity Commission appeared to have protected an individual. That is what I saw, because I have real questions to ask the Integrity Commission about their investigation. In fact, I'll send a letter to them. But you see, this is what goes on in Trinidad and Tobago, where you could get foreign exchange and you could go abroad for people to act like there is Jumbie, right? And we can't get it to even continue our business. Massy have hundreds of millions of dollars worth in vehicles in the country. They recently expanded their brand by bringing in MG, more garbage, right? And they have Subaru, and they have Hyundai, etc., etc. So hundreds of millions of dollars in foreign exchange in the country, hundreds of millions of dollars in foreign exchange on the way, and hundreds of millions of dollars being ordered. And we cannot even get $1,000 when we're ready to go abroad. But Massy could get money to go and pay for people to use white light and for people to talk to Jumbie. And that is what we allow as our people. That is what we sit down and we take, you know. And I continue to say we are a bunch of idiots in this country because our businesses are shutting down. We are like sacrificial lambs, and we sit down and we take it. And we calm. And it doesn't affect us. Even though the very bread from our mouth is being taken away, we cool and calm with that. Let's go again, guys. Pause that right there. Zoom into that for me, please. Just 1 week before Christmas, the country's business community is battling with the lowest supply of foreign exchange in years. This is The Guardian this week. Look, Sunday, December the 7th, 3 days ago. 3 days ago. And then you're hearing about what Massy using money for dealing with Jumbie. This is the type of thing that has driven people mad. Because everybody in this country will admit that it have people selling foreign exchange left, right, and center. My brother coming down, this and that. Everybody that I know who have a business using their credit card, and now your credit card get cut in half. Or you hear any of those executives in Massive, their credit card get cut in half? Or you hear if any of those executives in Republic Bank, in Royal, in Scotia Bank, all their credit cards get cut? Why not talk about the families of some of these people who lead these organizations, and let us hear if their families benefit from mass foreign exchange? Look right now. Look at what's going on right now. Right now, you know what is happening? Literally dozens of containers on the port backed up. People who needed their goods can't even get their goods. And you know what the problem is? The problem is not the customs officers, you know. Because I know that the custom officers that's tried their best in this country. But you know what is the problem? You see the system that put things in place where you should have 20 officers, you have 5. So the government is the reason for our backlogs. We have had backlogs. Look, for example, the other day, I paid $28,000 in rent and demurrage on the port for one container. That container was chairs. Right? Everything went down the drain. But you know what? This is what we have to face in this country. Look, for example, the couriers and I'm talking about what? They can't clear all of a sudden now. Call him, get up, he wake up. All right, we're going to do extra hours and this and that. Why the hell not do that for the containers so people bloody containers don't take 3 weeks to come off the port? Why the hell are you waiting for it to appear in the papers? And then AmCham, or whatever the hell they name, the American Chamber of Industry and Commerce will come up and say, boy, thank you so much. I call him. Here's our boss, boy. What happens if it wasn't for you, you know, this one that gets solved. All you idiots at AmCham, if it wasn't for Colm, it would not have been there in the first place. We would not have had those problems. We had efficiency. One of the greatest trade ministers we ever had in this country was a fella they call Vasant Bharat. That was the greatest. But then you have a set of drunks and illiterates who wanted to tarnish his name. And that is what I like. You understand? Because they like the drunken politics. They like to see leaders who can't get up and you have to hold them up. And they drunk 90% of the time when they're talking. That is what they like to see. We're in a sad state, a real sad state. Let's go again, guys. Yeah, go ahead.
A Massey Holdings executive is calling on the board to probe large sums of foreign exchange being spent on what she claims to be bizarre training for executives and directors.
Angelique Parizeau-Potter, the Executive Vice President of Business Integrity and Group General Counsel, raised the alarm during the company's annual general meeting today at the Trinidad Hilton. She alleges dubious rituals include training Massey employees to communicate with the dead, self-heal with white light energy. Parizeau-Potter told shareholders a 13-page document, including audio recordings on the matter, had been submitted to the company's CEO, Gervais Mona. However, shortly after she spoke, Warner jumped to the company's defense, saying doing that kind of work has been the secret to their success. He also revealed that between US $500,000 and $1 million is spent annually on this program.
And this is where we're at. This is where we're at. This is the type of dotishness that we have to face. Let's go again, guys. Yeah, let's go.
Support is on the way to help clear your online orders.
The working hours have been extended at the transit sheds to 11 p.m. Additional customs officers have been deployed.
In fact, customs officers who work at the baggage hall at the airport have been reassigned to the air cargo transit sheds to help clear the backlog. Good news for courier companies, but Minister Imbit said they're to blame as well for the delay.
Right. I'm burdened. You know what is so sad? This has been going on for donkey months now. But we decide, not we, that Minister of Finance decided that a few days before the holidays, in fact, today is Wednesday, so 2 days before the holidays, you decide that you go in and clear out the backlog now, and all of a sudden, you looking to get praise for that. The backlog was in place donkey months, so in fact, for years, if you talk to anybody about the situation with customs and the nonsense that takes place, as I said before, customs is not a worker issue, you know. It is not the cess issue. It is not these fellas here happening. It is not a Asikuda issue. The problem is customs need to get more staff. Customs need to get about 100 to 200 more officers so that they wouldn't have to wait so long for certain things to be done. Some of these officers are overworked. Some of these officers are fed up because the conditions under which they work is utterly ridiculous. Utterly ridiculous. So I don't know when that is going to change, but you're going to see next year they're coming up with the same thing again. Now, I want to add one more thing before I wrap up the program. And that is that during this period, many of you will go and you will purchase fireworks. I want to just encourage people to desist from doing that this year. Take a break from that now. Because let me tell you something. When you see these animals and them, when this thing go up in the air and this big boom takes place, it scares the hell out of the animals. Some of them get so frightened that they damage themselves, they hit their heads. Some of them even get trapped in holes and other areas trying to hide from it. But not only that, forget the animals. If you don't like animals, forget the animals. Think about the human beings, like the elderly people, those people who have cancer, those people who are sick in bed, the little babies, the people who are studying. Try and see if you could take a little time to think about those people. Because when you look at the money that is being spent, my friends, you could find better use for your money. Because you would spend 5,000 and in 50 seconds time when you watch up, poof, it gone. We have so much things that we could do with the money that you will be spending on fireworks. Use it, utilize it for something else. Something that would benefit you in the long run. For example, you have people in your own community who are suffering, who may not even have groceries, who may not even have school books when school open, who may not have money to travel or medicine. Use the money to assist those persons rather than taking that money and spending it on something that goes poof in a few seconds. At least let us try and see if this year we could make a difference. I have a huge reach. And I know that many people just going to ignore, because at the end of the day, it's like a pissing competition for some people where them neighbor buy 5,000, they want to buy 6,000. And when they buy 6,000, the one down the road want to buy 7,000. This year, take a break. And let us think about the animals. Let us think about our elderly. Let us think about the sick, please. That's number one. Number two, in ending, I want to thank the persons who are supporting our flea market in Chaguanas. There are so many flea markets all over, and we were told that ours is the most successful. And it takes a lot of hard work, but I would like to thank everyone who come down there and visit us like tonight. You know, people are going to line there until about 11 p.m. tonight. Food like crazy, drinks like crazy, the place is clean, the ambience is great. Right? So come down, bring the family and bus a line at the Baraka Grounds Flea Market, open until Sunday. And up to about 11 p.m. normally, open around lunchtime and close off at 11 p.m. All right, so this is where I have to end it off. Yeah, what happens is that we'll hold off and do. Let me see one or two of the slides again, guys. Poor sales, a symptom of broader despair. Take a read. This is by Dinesh Rambali. Right? Brilliantly said, because what happens is that, quite frankly, so many things are affecting the poor sales. Not just people don't have money, which is a perfect example of why you would not be able to purchase. But of course, the crime and other related issues is a problem. In fact, we'll hold off all those slides, guys, because what happens is that I've essentially run out of time. I would like to thank you so much again, folks, and it was a pleasure being in your company. God bless you. And of course, I'll catch you next week. Remember, there's a repeat of this program on Saturday at 9 p.m. And just to remind you as well, Brilliant is open. That's my business place there. We're open until Sunday, every single day. Until Sunday, until about 10 or later. Right? So you can check us out from 12 noon to around 10, 11 p.m. And that's brilliant at Baraka Grounds Food Court. All right, so take care and I'll catch you next week for Breaking Barriers. Assalamu alaikum and good evening.
I know I'm waiting for something to happen to me. But this waiting comes with